last month of autumn, on the first day of November. That's right, November. The infamous month, on the coldest morning of the year so far to start the cold season. All too fitting enough on the first day of the cold season, November to March, in the greater Bloomington metropolitan area in central Illinois, right? 32 degrees with a thick frost this morning. Ushers in a very chilly start and seasonably cold after a very mild to near record mild first 2/3 of autumn. Now as we work our way into the last month of autumn in November, we're going to get off to a very chilly start the front 10 days in November, followed by a little bit of a warm-up for the middle of the month, and then a very cold end of the month, and a very wintry, stormy, cold, maybe record-breaking cold December. Phenomenal December setting up, just like we have a phenomenal November collapse that I've been advertising for months. And now November's here, and we'll see how she shakes out. I mean, I couldn't be happier with where the price is at to start, because I think you're going to have a big fall. And if you're going to have a big fall, it's awfully nice to be quite high right now to start that big fall, making it a lot easier, right? So I think everything I've outlined the past 8 to 12 weeks leading up to this November collapse that I think we're going to have, I think everything's lining up beautifully and the stars are aligned. Unless you just break out to the upside in Bitcoin and all these other coins continue to bleed off. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to break down. And then if eventually you're going to go up, you can go up from, lower levels. But we'll keep an eye out on this, because we've had those targets down there for quite some time, in the market, right? And that's why we always start from a far out time frame, and then we work our way in a super simple, easy way to trade this market. So the Bitcoin is still right where we were at over the weekend. When we looked at this last time, you had that huge pump right there from 37,000 all the way up to all-time high of just below 67,000. I think you're up to 66,600 and change, right? And now we're either going to come retest this, or we're going to come down to one of these moving averages, which now would be the 50. But by the time it hits it, I think it would be the 200, right? Because the 200 is going to be moving up here quickly now each day. So that's what we're watching out for. A retest, this 64,969 level, or a trading sideways like it's been, and then slowly slithering down towards a moving average to try to gather some support where some buyers would be, right, after some profit taking is happening up in here. But it's been a very orderly profit taking, so we're going to watch out that closely to see if you don't continue to break up, right? Because this might just be a nice consolidation, and then you break out after. So we'll look out, and we'll keep an eye on that and keep you up to the date on the price action and the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin dominance continues to rise as is expected, but it's off of its high. So that is something to note. It's still falling from its high, but it's still rising from its low, but it's consolidated. So we'll continue to see if this gets beat back down, or if this starts getting buyers now that it's in the thick of the moving averages, and that would make altcoins become bearish again. But as Bitcoin dominance has been slowly slithering down, some of the coins have been going up quite significantly in the altcoin market, right? But if we look at the Doge, this is just a normal morning update on the Bitcoins, right? Not some of the more popular coins. But you can see the Doge, after it had that pump, we talked about that. We thought it was kind of a fake out because the volume's not there, so it's consolidated back down a little bit. And we're going to see what happens as it's underneath that 27 cent 0.569 level. So it's acting as resistance over top of it. And if we zoom on in here, you can see in the daily time frame, we have an indecisive candle so far with very low volume. And if we zoom into a very close time frame, you can see this morning or earlier in the overnight period, we got violently. Actually, let's zoom out of this because I feel like it did something similar to that yesterday. It did. See, we're in this big volatile choppy pattern. Let me get that out of there. Get out of there. Nobody wants to see that. But okay, I had to turn. But if we look at, get that out of there too. If we look at the Doge with our pointer tool, or industry pointer tool, the fuck? Industry scumbags and charlatans, fleece heisters and shysters use pointer tool. We got the perching tool. But you can see the other day, I think it was Saturday night, Sunday morning, at a pop and a wick, and then came back down, then he got bought back up, and then he came down yesterday. And then he came back up again last night, I believe, and now you've come back down, right? And now you're trying to come back up. Big, highly volatile up in here. This obviously holds some major significance at about the 28 cent level because it keeps getting there and getting forced down. So we're going to keep an eye out on the Doge. The Doge! There's the bigger pump on the 28. And this has been coming down ever so slightly ever since. So we'll keep an eye out on this. If this starts to break down farther, we have much lower targets down there at 16 cents. But if it breaks to the upside, we have much higher targets that we'll keep an eye out. Keep an eye out on that as we sniff out and detect the criminal gangster cartel in the market, right? The only thing better right now would be a significant snowstorm with all the fall foliage still on after a warm fall. It'd be a phenomenally beautiful tree snapper, but no significant snow is in the forecast. In fact, no snow at all is in the forecast. Just very cold and dry. Of course, we had all that wet weather, and then we get the cold air established, and now the storms go to hibernation. The gold market's not doing anything. The altcoins. There were some phenomenal pumps yesterday, like right there, the key. I'm going to say, I thought when I was scrolling last night and this morning as I woke up to check the market, we had some pumps across the board. But if I was in this, nobody ever likes to hear this, but if you were in turnkey before that phenomenal pump right there, I would be selling into this run. Although this may be at an all-time high. No, not even close. I forgot this thing was so down. I would sell into that pump, right? I don't know how high it's going to go. Pumps can go for short bursts or long spurts, but I would be selling into the rally, just as in this one, if you were loading up, I would have sold into that rally, and I indeed did tell you, if I was on here during that with this coin, to sell into that rally, as I would be. However high that goes, I would be selling into it. By selling into it, you don't sell all at one time. You part ways with your coin as the price continues to rise, and you take advantage of the pump. And I am not a financial advisor, nor do I play one on my own radio show. This is strictly for education and entertainment only, as we talk about the market, right? And it's only my interpretation and understanding and thoughts and opinions on where the price may go using a technical trading setup. This is only educational and, most importantly, entertainment value only, right? So I would be selling into this rally. I would say a top-end potential is up into this rising channel or falling channel. And then if you wanted to try to break up to anywhere near where you used to be, you got to break above that key downtrending resistance and that falling channel. It's not even really a falling channel. I'm just trying to make something out of it down there to give you some representation on what you're looking at. But that's what we got going on in the coins. We'll give you some updates later as I roll on in to Rivian, son. Peace and love. Peace and love.